Shri Sai Ram, Gita Vahini, by Bhagavan Shri Sathya Sai Baba, Chapter 23, 20 Essential Virtues. The three gunas, or the three components, powers of Maya, of Sattva, purity, knowledge, desire, passion, inertia, lethargy, that is the Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, undergo various modifications and become manifested as all this creation, this universe, this Prakriti. Therefore, this Prakriti is subject to changes. It is not fixed, true. But the Atma is Chaitanyam, pure consciousness, which is Tejo Rupam, sheer effulgence, and so it is not subject to modifications of the gunas and is hence faultless. The body is Prakriti. Buddhi and Manas are also Prakriti. For this reason, faults or defects in man too differ according to the intensity of one or other of the gunas. Sattva guna is Nishchala or steady, Nirmala, pure, Niswartha or unselfish, Tejas, light. So, those who have this characteristic will have no wish or want. Those who have no wants will be fit for the Atma Jnanam, knowledge of the Atma or the self-knowledge. Those with Rajoguna will be engaged in acts tarnished with a tinge of Swartham or selfishness. They may have the urge to do Paropkaram or service to others, but that urge will drive them on to win fame and take pride in their achievements. Those who are endowed with Tamoguna are overcome by the darkness of ignorance, and so they grope about not knowing what is right and what is wrong. So long as the three gunas persist, the individual becomes unfit for attaining moksha, moksham or liberation, which is beyond the modifications and the gunas. Since the person is embedded in Prakriti, he fondly believes himself to be experiencing the gunas which from Prakriti. But this is an illusion. To destroy this illusion, Kshetra Vicharana or inquiry into the nature and characteristics of the Kshetra or Prakriti has become necessary. For the sadhaka, that is the spiritual aspirant, inquiry into jnanam or knowledge, and jnanam, knowable, that is to be known, is essential. But that jnani has to pay more attention to the sugunas or virtues, and for him, Deva Sakshatkaram or realization or direct perception of God is the Jnanam. Arjuna listened attentively to all this, and at the end he asked, "O Lord, what are the qualities that a jnani should possess?" Krishna replied, "Paratha, he must have the complete set of 20 virtues in ample measure." You might ask what they are. I shall tell you about them. Listen. But do not conclude that the goal can be reached when you have them all. The goal is immortality, Amrit Tattvam, that can be experienced only by the Brahma Sakshatkaram, realization of the absolute reality of Brahman. When one masters the complete set of Jnana Gunas, the set of 20 essential virtues, or qualities to be possessed by a spiritual aspirant as a prerequisite to tread the path of jnana or knowledge, the knower becomes the known. For this consummation, one must have all 20 virtues in ample measure. Then, the jnani can try to experience and realize jnanam or known. I shall therefore first tell you about jnanam. By possessing those two essentials, sugunas in full measure makes one a jnani. Sugunas first, then Sakshatkaram. What a splendid path! To teach about Brahman without first ensuring a moral and virtuous life is like trying to light a lamp without wick or oil or an oil saucer. Acquire all these three first, then you light it and get Brahma Jnana or Jyoti, light of the realization of Brahman. There is one point here which sadhakas have to note carefully. The oil saucer, the wick and the oil must be proportionate. If the wick is too big for the lamp or too small, if the oil is too much or too little for the wick, if the oil saucer is too small or too huge for the oil or the wick, the lamp or the diya will not burn bright and give light. Brilliant steady light can be secured only when all three are in proper proportion. Similarly, all the three gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas too must be in equilibrium to yield jnana jyoti. And with the help of jnana jyoti, one can experience moksha anandam or bliss of liberation. Even if any one of those three gunas are remained, it leads man to bondage. For all the three gunas are bonds that bind man to the deham or physical body, which is the product of Prakriti. Man cannot be free if bound by any of these three gunas. Like a cow whose forelegs are tied together by one rope, whose hind legs too are bound together by another rope, and whose neck and horns are bound by a third rope. The threefold gunas are such threefold bonds. How can the poor beast move freely when it is bound so? The sattva guna too is a bond. It is like a golden rope. The rajoguna a copper rope. The sattva guna too is a bond. It is like a golden rope. The rajoguna a copper rope and tamoguna an iron rope. All three bind effectively in spite of the difference in the value of material. As bonds, all three are obstacles to freedom of movement. Arjuna was eager to know more and he asked Krishna, "O Lord, you said that all the 20 virtues are essential to become a jnani. Which are they? Please describe them to me one by one in detail. I shall be blessed to learn them." Krishna said, "Arjuna, I am delighted at your earnestness. Listen, the first virtue is amanitvam, meaning absence of abhimanam or self-conceit, pride, arrogance. So long as one has manam or arrogance, conceit, conception of superiority, he cannot earn jnanam. Man's tendency should be like the tendency of water. Whatever color you pour into water, it absorbs that color and it never asserts its own color. It has no abhimanam. But now the behavior of man is quite contrary to this. When he does the smallest service or donates the slightest amount, he is anxious that people should know about it. For this, he himself goes about prattling about it or arranges to get it published in some paper. The absence of such abhimanam is what is called amanitvam. Now, for the second, adambhitvam, meaning absence of dambham, that is false pretense, hypocrisy, ostentation, show off. This is a very great virtue in man, boasting that one is great when one is not, claiming that one has the power when one has nothing, that one has authority when one has no such little. Such are the signs of dambam, or conducting oneself devoid of dambam is adambhitvam. Here, readers must note one point very carefully. The world today is full of this false pretense, this hypocrisy, dambam. Whichever field of activity you watch, whomsoever you observe, you discover this dire defect. The government of nations are in the hands of people who are pretenders. Those who have no knowledge claim to know everything. Those who have no one to help them at home claim that they have a huge following. Those who have no capacity claim that they are highly capable. In every activity and in all fields, this dambam is the very first step. This is not only ruin, This not only ruins man but also spreads in society like a pest that destroys the entire crop. If this is wiped off, the world will be saved from disaster. Dambam, if allowed, will make you lose both in the secular life as well as the spiritual life. It is harmful at all times and places. It does not suit ordinary men. How can it then be beneficial to the sadhakas on their path to self-realization? Even a trace of it can spell disaster. The third virtue is ahimsa. This is also an important virtue. Himsa, violence, is not simply causing physical agony. It means even more the mental pain that is inflicted, the anxiety and worry that are caused to others by your thoughts, words, and deeds. If you merely desist from causing physical pain to others, you cannot claim to have ahimsa. Your thoughts, words, and deeds must be free from motive to cause pain to others and must be unselfish. This is true ahimsa. Then we have shama or tolerance, forbearance as the fourth. This is called Shanti, non-reactive, non-judgmental response to others' behavior, as well as sahana, putting up with something, patience. It means that you should consider as good as a dream the evil that others do unto you, the loss that you suffer through them, the hatred they evince towards you. Treat these as you treat a mirage. That is to say, you must develop that degree of patience or fortitude. It is not the helpless putting up with the evil that others do because you are powerless to retaliate or have no peace or have no other alternative. It is the expression of the Shanti or peace that reigns in the heart, this outer behavior or Shanti. Many people put up with an injury in order to impress others or due to lack of physical, economic or popular support or due to the fear of validation or confidence issues. Their orpu or patience cannot be honored as real Shanti. Like ahimsa, this too is an important virtue. Next, let us consider the fifth, rujutvam or honesty or sincerity. This is also known commonly as nijyati, honesty. It means the unity of thought, word and deed without any hypocrisy or stratagem. This applies to both secular life and spiritual life. Perhaps this is a facet of the virtue adambhitvam. The sixth is Acharya Upasana, the reverential service rendered to the spiritual teacher. Just as the teacher is necessary for secular education, a guru is needed for spiritual education. And being devoted to one's guru will promote affection for the pupil and can help him to reach great heights. But the guru who has no goal will only mislead the disciple into perdition. The guru must shower grace on the disciple as freely and as spontaneously as the mother cow secretes the milk as soon as it sees its young calf. The teaching of the guru is the source and sustenance for attaining God and acquiring moksham or liberation. The seventh virtue is sochvam, meaning cleanliness, not merely bahaya socham or outer cleanliness, but antar sachvam, inner cleanliness at the subtlest level. More importantly, antar sochvam is also called antakarana socham, cleanliness of inner faculty, the mind. And what is antar socham? The absence of raga, affection or attachment, dvesha or hatred, of kama, lust and krodha, anger, and the presence of sattvika or pure, devi gunas or holy and sacred qualities. Water cleans the deham or the gross body, satyam adherence to truth, cleans the manas. Janmam or higher knowledge, Jnanam or higher knowledge or wisdom cleanse the buddhi. Jivatma, that is the subtlest individual soul, is cleaned by Vidya. Here Vidya refers to upasana or contemplation on God or worship of God, and tapas, committed relevant action in line with Dharma. The eighth virtue is called Sthiryam, or meaning absence of chapala chitam, that is fickleness or waywardness. Whatever happens, a sadhaka must hold fast to what he has once fixed his faith upon as conducive to his spiritual progress. He should not flit from one ideal to another, changing the goal from day to day. This is also referred to as diksha, determination. Self-devotion, the inner meaning of this is to scrupulously avoid Durbhalyam or weakness or disability. The ninth in the list is Indriya Nigraham, the control of the senses. Be convinced that the senses have to be subserve your best interest, not that you should subserve the interest of the senses. Do not be the slave of the senses, make them rather your slaves. Next, the 10th virtue, Vairagyam, meaning the absence of anurakti or affection for sound, touch, form, taste, smell, etc. The senses run after these, but they are not interested in what sadhaka aspires for. And what sadhaka is interested in? Purusharthas, human pursuits, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksham. The Atma can be discovered only through the Purusharthas. The 11th virtue is Anahamkaram, absence of egoism. Ahamkaram or egoism is the breeding ground of all vices and faults. The ego-centric individuals pay no regard to right and wrong, good and bad, godly or wicked. He does not care for them, nor does he know about them. He is completely ignorant of dharma and morals. He will not conform to nyayam or justice. To be devoid of all these vices and faults is to be endowed with anahamkaram. One must realize that ahamkaram is a foe in the guise of a friend. The next virtue is called Janma Mritya Jara Vyadhi, Dukkha, Doshanu, Darshanam, the awareness of the inevitable cycle of birth and death, of senility and disease, of grief and evil, and other signs of the temporariness of this created world and life in it. Of all the virtues, this is most essential one. Though people experience grief as a result of these birth and death, senility and diseases happening in this world, they do not investigate the reasons for this and the methods of escaping from them. That is the greatest mystery. If only you go to the root of the problem, you will realize that whatever else you may escape, you cannot escape death. What man conceives as happiness now is in reality only misery in the guise of happiness. So, understand the truth of these things. Reflect upon the flaws in the reasoning which delude you. Then, as a result, vairagya, detachment, renunciation is strengthened, and through that, you attain jnanam. Therefore, O Arjuna, liberate yourself from the doshas or modifications of any being or object, of janma, birth, mrityu, death, jara, senility, vyadhi, illness, and dukkham, grief. Thus spoke Krishna, exhorting Arjuna with a great deal of affection. Next is asakti, longing, attachment. Asa, longing, ambitious to possess everything that you see, is asakti. This is caused by mamkaram, feelings of I and mine. It is mamkaram that binds man to objects, and for a jnani, it is not his nature to get deluded and to develop a desire to possess whatever is seen. He must divest from Mamakarams, such as I must have this, I must be the proud owner of this valuable thing. Mamakaram is indeed the Mahapasham, great news. A Jnani treats all things in this objective world as the manifestation of the Lord's glory. So, Anashakti is essential, and it is the 13th virtue. Anasakti means the absence of Ashakti or attachment, the withdrawal of desire from objects, the absence of yearning. Love all things as expressions of His glory, but do not delude yourself into the belief that possessing them will make you happy. That is an illusion. Use them for your needs as and when necessary. That is all. Do not dedicate your life for their sake. That kind of impulse activating you will be a great handicap in your progress towards moksham or liberation. Whatever you may acquire as property will have to be given up someday. You cannot take with you on that last journey even a blade of grass or a pinch of dust. Keep this fact ever before the mind's eye, and then you can realize the reality. Before one's birth, one has no relationship with this world and its material objects. After death, one does not possess those, all, and other relatives. This sojourn in this world is just a game played in the interval. Getting passionate about the 3-day fair is foolish. Indeed, Asakti tarnishes the mind and makes man unfit for moksham. The sadhakas who seek jnanam, moksham and sakshatkaram, realization, must rid themselves of asakti, for like grease it sticks and is difficult to remove once it is contacted. Next is samatvasthiti, which means having samana bhavam, or the state of equanimity during favorable, that is right, and unfavorable, wrong conditions, intellectual plane, prosperity and adversity, cold and heat. This is the 15th virtue of a Jnani, being elevated or depressed respectively by success and defeat, profit and loss, honor and dishonor, is an activity that is futile. Accept all equally as by the grace of God, His prasadam, as you wear shoes to tread over thorny places or hold an umbrella to escape getting wet in rain or sleep inside a mosquito curtain to escape the stings of insects. So too, arm yourself with samadhana chitam, an unshaken, fixed mind that is confident of the Lord's grace, and bear with equanimity fame or blame, loss or sorrow, likes or dislikes. Then you can never be harmed by those dualities. Hence, it is essential to have samachitvam, equanimity under all circumstances. Next is bhakti, without any other thought or feeling, ananya bhakti. When grief overtakes you, you run to God. When sankata, trouble, overpowers you, you take refuge in the Lord Venkateshwara. When joy is restored, you throw Him overboard. When you are down with fever and your taste is ruined and your tongue is bitter, you crave for some hot pickle. But when the fever subsides, you are normal again. You do not relish the same pickle. Bhakti is not a temporary salve. It is the unbroken contemplation of God without any other interposing thought or feeling at all times and under all circumstances. Such Ananya Yoga, or method of exclusive devotedness without any other thought or feeling, is Ananya Bhakti. It means having anurakti or affection towards God, whatever the activity or recreation or talk. Thereafter comes ekantavasam, or dwelling in solitude. One must be fond of being alone. Ekantavasam does not mean keeping the body alone in some solitary place, far from the haunts of men. Keeping mind nirvishyam, devoid of any sense objects, is abhyantara ekantam, inner solitude. Do not allow yourself to think about anything or anyone other than God. Even when you are in the company of wise men or sadhakas, you must not develop any attachment to them and maintain a state of nirvishyam. Jai Sai Ram.
Saishwaraya vidmahe Satyadevaya dhimahi Tanna sarva prachodayat. Om Saishwaraya vidmahe Satyadevaya dhimahi Tanna sarva prachodayat. Om Saishwaraya vidmahe Satyadevaya dhimahi Tanna sarva prachodayat. Om